How do you mount a spur mount? Well, it's a pretty simple process, and what you'll want to do is you'll start by taking the bottom half of the mount and putting it on the Picatinny rail, and then you'll want to push the mount forward before you start to tighten it down. The reason why you want to do that is when a rifle recoils, the scope is stationary and the rifle's moving this way. So we want to move the scope forward, make sure it's firmly seated against the lug, and then tighten it down. Now there's a series of screws right down here. They're numbered 1 through 4, 1 through 5. What I'll do is I'll tighten that first one, the first go around, I'll go until they just touch, and then I'll go back and it's 45 inch-pounds. Tighten each of these to 45 inch-pounds, and the bottom half of the mount is ready to go. Next thing you'll want to do is you'll want to grab this little wedge. The flat portion of the wedge goes into the bottom of the mount. Drop your scope into the mount, and then put the caps on and just get them to where they're evenly spaced and just barely where the screws are touching. You want to be able to move things around just a little bit. What that does by using this wedge is it levels the reticle to the level that's in the back of the mount. When manufacturers put reticles in scopes, they mount them square to the bottom of the turret housing. So when we put the scope in the mount, we're going to level the bottom of the turret housing to the level that's in the back of the mount. What that allows you to do is, of course, when you're behind the rifle, put the little bubble in between the two lines and everything's going to be good to go. It's about a 95% solution. And the reason why is when manufacturers mount a reticle inside a scope, there's some variation that they'll allow, and they'll say, okay, that's good enough. None of them will tell you exactly what it is, which is why you'd always want to check. So you go out to the range, you drop a plumb bob, or you take a 4-foot level, put it on the target board, and just double check to make sure that your reticle's perfectly level. So put the wedge in, get everything touching, pull the wedge out, and then you'll want to start to tighten down your ring caps. When you do that, you want to make sure there's an even gap on each side of these ring caps. It's not necessary to bust out feeler gauges. Just eyeball it, make sure there's some gap. Get your fingernail in there, you're good to go. When you use a torque wrench, use a T20. If you put a T15 in, you'll think, okay, that fits. It looks like it fits, but you can detect just the tiniest bit of wobble. What'll happen is if you use a T15, as soon as you start to apply any amount of torque, it's going to strip. And then it's time to be sad, because now you got a strip screw that you got to dig out of there, and that's no fun. So T20, all these screws are T20. Like I said before, these are 45 inch-pounds. The ring caps get between 15 and 25 inch-pounds. If you have a light scope or it has a very thin main tube, I'd stay with 15 inch-pounds. You got a bad boy like this, super durable, thick main tube, you can run them all the way up to 25 inch-pounds, and it's not going to cause any problems. The screws for the ring caps, Spuhr puts a special coating on these things, and so you don't wipe them down and put Loctite on. Just take the screw, put it right in the ring cap, and tighten them down. It's designed to give you a good, accurate torque reading, and then those screws are also designed to stay in place with the coating that comes from the factory. So I'd like to thank Mile High Shooting Accessories for sponsoring this video. And if you'd like to know more about spur mounts or see all of the spur mounts that are available, you can go to www.milehighshooting.com.